The Health Minister, Kwekwajaman Menu, has admitted that he failed to seek cabinet and parliamentary approval before engaging a private individual for the procurement of the Sputnik V vaccines in a bid to manage Ghana's COVID-19 cases. On Thursday, July 15, while answering questions before a bipartisan parliamentary committee probing the controversial Sputnik V vaccine procurement, the minister said the urgent and critical nature of the circumstances at the time did not permit him to use the right channels while also ignoring approvals from the Food and Drugs Authority. The contract with Sheikh Al Maktoum, which has since been terminated, could not supply the quantity of vaccines as promised. However, 20,000 vials of the vaccine, which were supplied as part of a proof of concept, remain a debt to the Ghanaian taxpayer.
All right, so let's stay a bit further on this, and let's go on to the telephone. Vitus Azim is a governance and policy expert. He's former executive director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative and also an anti-graft campaigner. Mr. Azim, good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening. First off, this admission by the health minister, clear there that standard operating procedure was breached. What should be a point of interest for the likes of you, anti-corruption crusaders? Is there an element of corruption to suspect there?
Yeah, there's an element of potential corruption. We don't have evidence that there was a change of bribes or anything, but it was a potential corruption risk. And so in such cases, you need to investigate to find out whether something untoward had happened. But you see, when you look at the fact that this was the former chairman of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, and you apply what was used on Mr. Domolevo, that as Auditor General should have known better and that kind of thing, you don't expect him to do those things.
Well, but beyond this committee, the parliamentary committee that probed this, which led to these revelations we're hearing now, what steps should be taken to ensure that this is actually discussed beyond just the committee's work? Should Parliament as a house take it up, or an independent investigation body should take it up to get to the bottom of it?
You see, my problem with Parliament investigations, you are investigating your own colleague. And from past experience, you don't normally expect much to come out of it. But I don't think that he even needs to wait for the investigation to come out with any report. This admission alone should be enough for him to say, oh, I think I have done the wrong thing. I'm buying out as Minister of Health. That should be the honest thing for him to do. Because you have admitted publicly that what you did was wrong. So what happens? Should they just forget? You would not expect, from past experience, you would expect the president to say go. So one will expect himself to say, look, I think this is too much. We've had incidents in some countries where a train accident, which does not involve the minister responsible, the minister decides to step aside. So this admission should be enough for him to do, well, I think I've done the wrong thing. I'm leaving the scene.
Well, so far we haven't heard anything from his appointer or the appointing authority in that regard, even though, yes, indeed, as you heard, he has admitted that he breached standard operating procedure. And you think that that public admission is enough grounds for him to step aside?
Yes, I think so. As for the coming from the appointed authority, it's not a new thing. That's why people have called him something, clearance house or something. He doesn't even see anything wrong with that. And especially in this case, they will use excuses like it was an emergency because of the COVID-19 and all that kind of thing. So I don't expect the president to say go. But he himself, having been the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee and has been in Parliament for quite some time, I think he himself to say, well, I think what I've done is wrong. They get somebody else to replace me. But as for expecting the sanctions from the president, I will be very surprised.
You'll be surprised if the president steps in and I mean, asks him to resign, or ask for further probe into this particular revelation. Why would that be a surprise to you?
Because it's not the normal practice. It's not the normal practice. We don't see it happening. For the president to come out and say, I'm sacking this person because of 1, 2, 3. Sometimes what they do is just put pressure on the person to resign, which is not enough punishment for the person. You see, you have people working for you. If they don't do the right thing, it is your responsibility to say, look, you have to go. And let people understand why you're asking the person to go. But sometimes they will go behind the closed doors and advise the person, submit your resignation letter, and then he may yield against his will. So I think that we need to reach a stage where we should stop these things. If the person is a person of integrity, he should go. If he doesn't go, the president should say, look, I cannot contain this, you have to go. Right.
But even beyond the resignation, the questions about whether we lost money, I mean, the taxpayer lost as a result of this transaction that was as a result of a breach of the standard operating procedure has to be answered. I mean, if he does resign.
I don't know. I think he has told the Parliament that no monies were paid or so. So if no monies were paid, then there might not be any loss to the taxpayer, unless he was not telling the truth. But if no monies were paid, we wouldn't be talking about maybe taxpayer losing some money.
Zazim, I thank you for your time.